Hello everybody from Plant Review. Today I will talk about how to plant Pleione bulbs. I just received them today from Anglia Bulbs and they are Pleione formosana grandiflora. There is a white Pleione. I ordered actually the Pleione foresti, but unfortunately they don't have any in stock. So they sent me, we agreed that they would have sent me the Pleione foresti next year, and in the meantime they would have sent me as a gift this Pleione formosana grandiflora, a beautiful white Pleione, so I'm very pleased with that for this Pleione gift. Very nice. Also, I ordered last year from Anglia Bulbs and the bulbs were all really nice, so I'm very satisfied with this nursery. Pleiones are hardy orchids that I've taken another video a few days ago about my Pleione tongariro. Today I will speak about then how to put the Pleione in, how to plant Pleione. Pleione needs pots that can be also quite shallow. I decided to opt for this very strange pot. There is actually a container for grapefruit, just a container that you find in the supermarkets, and I think it's a pretty good container because it's not too shallow and not too deep, and also it's transparent, so I can actually see how the roots of Pleiones are going through when they develop in a way that I like to see also in my tropical orchids. I love to put them in plastic in clear pots so I can see how the roots are developing as well. Pleiones are hardy orchids, so most Pleiones are hardy orchids, not all species. This Pleione formosana might need to be lifted in autumn because they can't. Some Pleiones can't stand too much of a cold temperature. I've never planted the Pleione formosana before, so I will find some more information. However, the Pleione tongariro is perfectly fine outside in Kent, and the Pleione formosana is one of the parents of the tongariro. So I do believe that the formosana is also hardy, at least in Kent. It is quite a mild climate anyway. So I will talk about the mix I used. The mix I used for the Pleione tongariro is basically very easy. Half sphagnum moss and half bark chips. So pretty easy mix. So first of all, I will start with the sphagnum moss. It's important that the sphagnum goes at the bottom of the pot because it's basically it's very important that it's kept moist, and the roots of the Pleiones, when they go deep down, they will find the sphagnum to suck the humidity, the water that they need developing. It is important to remember that anyway the Pleiones in winter the roots mostly die, so the roots will not then suck the water from the sphagnum. So in winter the sphagnum, remember, very probably will get waterlogged, sometimes frozen as well, but the roots will be dead anyway. The most important is that the bulb is not actually sitting in waterlogged sphagnum. So that's the reason, because we usually need to do alternate layers of sphagnum and bark chips. So I put a little bit of bark chips around here. It's very important that you leave some holes in between the bark chips, so the sphagnum threads can suck water from the sphagnum at the bottom to keep the water coming through the next layer. So as you can see, I left some areas with clear of bark, so the sphagnum will be able to suck some more moisture. some more sphagnum here. Okay, so this is the last layer of sphagnum. Now it's very important that the rest is filled with bark. The bark will keep isolating the bulbs from the very cold and waterlogged sphagnum in winter. I also have some well, clay pellets that shouldn't be really in the bark. I think during the last repotting of tropical orchids I decided to go for a mix of clay pellets and bark, but really you just need bark anyway. As you can see, it's mostly bark, just a few clay pellets. Clay pellets actually are good because they improve aeration, and also they do not tend to get waterlogged as well. So I think that actually might be a way to keep the orchid. The problem of the clay pellets is that sometimes they make the roots a little bit too dry when they are coming up. So you know what, I'll just take out the clay pellets instead, because I don't want to risk roots becoming burnt by the clay pellets. Okay, and I'll put these in this spare pot. Okay, so as you can see, very important, now we have pure bark. Well, almost pure. There's still a few clay pellets that I'm taking out. Okay, cool, and that's it. Okay, so you can see only pure bark. Now, very delicately, we take the bulbs. I will keep the tag, obviously, on the side. These bulbs have already started putting little roots, as you can see. Yeah, you can see little roots and also the leaves. I'm not too sure if they will actually put a flower. At the moment I see just the leaf coming up. However, yeah, you can see that the old roots are dead and the new roots are shooting right now. Ideally, when you plant Pleiones, they should not be rooted at all, but they were waiting for the Pleione foresti to come, hopefully from the nursery, so they decided to send these now in May, but I mean, they're not too long, so they should still be fine. So basically, you can actually, it's good that they have some roots, because you can puncture them to a little bit of bark. You have to put them very carefully in order not to be not to damage the new roots coming. So I obviously will start on the side. Let's see the sides of the bulb. Okay, yeah. Okay, I will start on the side. So I'll put this one here. Try to open the old roots. Okay, so little by little we put it in the bag. The top of the bulb, as you can see, there is a round area and a pointy area. It is very important that obviously the pointy area is coming up, and it will need to be about I would say 1-2 centimeters out of the compost. That's how you plant Pleiones. Trying to put the bark in a way that keeps the Pleione as stable as possible, because when the roots are forming they really need to be careful that they do not move too much, otherwise they might get damaged. It's ideal to buy the Pleione and to receive the Pleione if you're buying online early in the season, so you won't risk to break the roots forming. Okay, that should be okay. Second bulb here. You can see the rounded area and the pointy area, and these are the new buds that are coming up where the leaves will form, and the flower as well, hopefully. The flowers come first in a Pleione, and then the leaves come afterwards. So I put this one here. Okay, again, very carefully, try to put very delicately the bark around. Try not to compress too much, because otherwise the shoots of the leaves and of the flowers might have difficulties in coming up. Okay. And last of all, spread the roots, the old roots around like this. Okay. Now the top, I don't mind really to have a few clay pellets because the roots will go down, deep down anyway, not on the surface, and the clay pellet on the top won't be of any problem. And actually the clay pellets on the top, when the will dry up, will be able really to discourage snails coming as well, because the clay pellets tend to dry up quite quickly. So it is very important that snails do not come around to eat the Pleiones flowers or leaves. I add some more bark. As I said, clay pellets are just it's just a coincidence I have clay pellets in the pot in the mix, because I have done a previous repotting for tropical orchids, but as you can see, the bark is the most important. Okay, yeah, I think they are firm enough. A little bit more here. Okay, so as you can see, the bulbs are planted about in the center of this kind of unusual pot. As you can see, it's very important that the sphagnum is at the bottom part and in the middle part, because it will keep the roots moist when they are when they are vital and green, so from spring to autumn, to feed and hydrate the bulbs, the pseudo bulbs. And the top, instead of the pot, is where is mainly filled with just bark, because well, or a little bit of clay pellets in this case, but really clay pellets is an absolute coincidence, because it's very important to keep the bulb as far as waterlogging as possible. So the bark ensures that a bit of ventilation and a real environment, and it helps the bulbs and the orchid to stay moist, but without never being waterlogged. So that's about how to plant Pleione orchids, and hope, well, obviously I forgot to put the tag of the orchid, so I'll put it here, and it's ready to be watered. And then you have to remember to keep it moist from when you plant the bulb to autumn. Very important for because the Pleiones really can't stand the drought and dehydration. And I think it needs to be planted in light shade, not full sun at all, because they are very sensitive to sunburns as well. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to make soon another video about this blooming of this Pleione formosana grandiflora white. Thank you very much, and see you next time.